Forest Lawn in Glendale, California. And you're looking at tape from earlier this evening, a procession of some 26 cars with family members drove up. They were about an hour and 30 minutes late getting underway. We're joined outside Forest Lawn by Carlos Diaz, correspondent for Extra. Carlos, you've been there much of the day. I was there earlier. It was extremely hot. Any idea why it got off to such a late start?
Well, I mean, it's the exact same thing that happened a few months ago at Staples Center when that was supposed to start promptly at a certain time before noon, and it started about an hour and a half late and went a lot longer than people expected. This funeral service was supposed to last about an hour. It's already lasting longer than that. It got underway an hour late. But when you have so much to coordinate, you have 26 cars coming from across town in a very busy Los Angeles streets. It's not your normal funeral, so obviously a lot more to this than your normal funeral, and many more cars to get over here. So it just seems to be a trend with the Jackson family at this point.
Carlos, viewers are watching tape of the services that are underway. Give us a sense, if you could, of the media coverage that's outside the gates. I know that there's a perimeter right outside the gates, and there are cones. You're not allowed to go across that line. But give us a sense of how many people are there covering this event.
You have media from all over the world, and so it's less media than we saw at the celebration at Staples Center, but still it's media from across the globe. The thing that struck me the most was that we really didn't expect to see this much pool footage of Michael Jackson's funeral. And so when the pool footage came on the screens and the monitors that are scattered about, reporters from all over the world that they've seen things that the normal person has not seen, went running over to the monitors to get a glimpse of this. So even reporters who have seen so much were still in awe to see the pictures from inside this funeral.
And it was a bit of a tease, I know, because we were told originally we were not going to get that pool footage. And then, true to form, the audio was cut. We're seeing now tape that was shot some time ago. Joining us here in studio is Gotham Chopra, a friend of Michael Jackson's. He accompanied Michael on the Dangerous tour when he was just a teenager. Gotham, you've known Michael for nearly 20 years. And what is your sense? You called it earlier on Larry King Live. You said you've known Michael for a long time. He's never been on time for anything.
Yeah.
And you said half-jokingly you wouldn't have expected this to begin on time, but it did go late.
Yeah, I mean, his concerts never started on time. He never showed up to dinner on time. It was just the kind of way he was. So I was not surprised. I thought the over-under was right around an hour, but it is a very dignified ceremony from what we saw here.
Well, in a way, we're eavesdropping. We're looking in on aerial view right now. We're looking at along with our viewers. And this, I have to remind you, this is tape, but the service is still ongoing. We're not able to hear the service. We were told that the pool footage would be limited. It is limited. Gotham, give us a sense, if you could, because people tonight, in this private ceremony of some 200 plus people, friends, close friends, family, are hearing about Michael Jackson, the Michael Jackson you knew. Paint a picture of this man, because he's so complex. Many people just have the wrong view of who he was.
Well, Michael was a contradiction. I mean, he was the greatest superstar that ever lived in some ways. Some people would argue he was a scandal-plagued celebrity, certainly in the last few years. But he was also a normal person somewhere in the middle of that. I think one of the great normalizing things about him, especially the last decade, was his children. He created a family in some ways, people that would not judge him for being one of those two polar opposites, but really appreciate him for being somebody real, a father. And he was a very normal father. He knew which kid liked what cereal. He changed diapers. He got worried and stayed up all night when, the kid's fever spiked. So there was something very normalizing about them for him as well. And I think, he's actually in some ways all of those things. I mean, he was an agonized person in many ways. And part of that agony is where his amazing creativity came from. So it is hard to define him because he was so many of those things wrapped up in this iconic personality.
Carlos, out on the scene, Gotham is describing Michael Jackson in very human terms, but he was also a mega celebrity, and we saw a star-studded group of people arriving tonight. Can you give us a sense of some of the people who are there, or give us a list of the celebrities that are joining this this celebration of Michael's life?
And a very unusual list of celebrities. You know, you have Elizabeth Taylor out here who was waiting in the heat, you know, for Michael Jackson. She got here on time. Michael Jackson, of course, late. But then you have celebrities like Barry Bonds, Macaulay Culkin, Corey Feldman here, Chris Tucker, who is a fan and friend of Michael Jackson's, appearing in one of his videos. So you have a very unusual mix. Lisa Marie Presley here. Debbie Rowe invited but did not come. Also Diana Ross, not in attendance once again. She was not at the memorial service at the Staples Center and not here tonight. But you do have a mix of a lot of celebrities, and also a lot of celebrities that Michael Jackson will now be buried with here at this cemetery.
And Carlos, you named a couple of people, Lisa Marie and Elizabeth Taylor in particular. Neither of them showed up, as you mentioned, to the memorial service, and we're seeing that this is a very different type of service, attracting perhaps a closer group to Michael Jackson. Are you surprised by the people who are attending tonight?
No, I mean, these are people, there's no one, I look at Barry Bonds is kind of unusual to me. He's the one person where you're like, well, you didn't hear too much of him having a close relationship with Michael Jackson, but really everyone else, you can kind of put them at some point in Michael Jackson's life. But the big thing here is, as we see the footage, and we've seen the footage all night, the family members, you know, you see Catherine Jackson, Michael's mother, you see Joe Jackson, Michael's father, sitting next to each other. They have a very unique and unusual relationship, the two of them sitting so close to each other. And when you look at Catherine Jackson, you're looking at a mom. You know, you're looking at a mom who has lost her baby boy, and you can really see the anguish in her eyes. Joe, stoic as usual, but you're really seeing it from Catherine. And then we've seen pictures of LaToya and Janet also looking very somber tonight, and a little bit of a difference from the memorial service where everyone wore the yellow ties. Tonight they're wearing all red ties with a black armband, much as Michael did in life. The thing that struck me the most at the memorial service was when they brought Michael's casket in, how everyone at Staples Center, you could hear a pin drop. It was so quiet. And then moments ago, about 45 minutes ago, when the hearse carrying Michael Jackson's body went up this hill behind me, all of the reporters here were morbidly quiet. And it's one of those things where we can talk all we want about Diprovan and Propofol and lorazepam and all these drugs, and we can talk about Dr. Conrad Murray. But when you see the hearse, or when you see the casket, it's a stark reminder that Michael Jackson is gone. And there he is right there, and he's being put in the ground right now. And it reminds everyone that we've lost a great entertainer.
And Carlos was right. It's an excellent reminder that tonight is Michael Jackson's funeral. Funeral that's still underway. It started around 8:35 local time, a little over 30 minutes ago. As we go to break, from the night Michael died, there's Smokey Robinson talking about his friend, Michael Jackson.